this meeting. Well, let's just get started. Thank you all for being here today. It seems like I know so far I think we don't have anyone new currently on our call, but again, thank you all for being here tonight. As we will tonight we will talk about a potential project to begin working on to kick off for this year. Moving forward, these meetings will serve as a purpose for the implementation of the action plan projects and programs. And then to also recruit more volunteers, and increasing the participation from the community in this process. We are making these meetings more open to the community. Initially, this group started off as a smaller focus group of leaders to help us shape the public engagement process. But now that the action plan has been completed and approved by council, the focus has now shifted to implementation. And we will need all the help that we can get from the community to really push the projects that the community has selected within this process. And just to go over some of our team's information, how to utilize teams. Just a reminder, you can use the chat feature clicking on that symbol, the chat symbol right there, the message symbol. And if you would like to have a question or any comments, feel free to write in there and we will make sure to get to it within this meeting. And then also, if you're not speaking, please remember to stay on mute. If you're connecting to this meeting through your phone, you can mute and or unmute yourself by pressing *6. And then if possible, just please only use one device so that there will be no interference with audio. So that would be much appreciated just to use one device. And then also there is a raise hand feature. If you would like to click on that, if you wanted to speak, you could click that raise hand feature so that we'll know that then we'll get to you as soon as possible within the meeting. And then as well as and at the conclusion of our meeting, just please remember to hang up on any logged in devices. So to go over the agenda for today, first of all, before even starting this, I would like to, are there any elected officials with us tonight? Any representatives of any elected offices that would like to introduce themselves?
Hello, my name is Rain Eatman. I am coming on behalf of Councilmember Jackson's office, and I'm really excited to be here.
Welcome. Thank you for being with us tonight. Anyone else? I don't see. Okay. To go over our agendas, again, we kind of tackle on the purpose of tonight's meeting. This will be followed by a kind of like an icebreaker discussion, just a brief discussion to select our name, a group name that we can refer to ourselves moving forward. And then that'll be followed by a couple of our speakers that we have tonight, starting off with Sarah Robinson, who is from the Houston Public Works, to talk about the Protect Our Pipes campaign, followed by Juan Flores, who is a program manager with the Air Alliance Houston, who will be talking about the community air monitoring program. And then after that, I will briefly recap some of the points that were covered at our previous meeting back in October of last year, and that which will lead into our main discussion for this evening, which is to select a project to kick off with. And that will be followed by with any announcements. This will be opportunity for anyone who has any announcements to inform the community, and that will and our fellow planner Sasha Marshall will talk about upcoming list grant workshops as part of the Go Neighborhoods program. So she will provide dates and times for those workshops, and then we will covered the next steps, and that will conclude our meeting. So now going into the group name selection. What is an ideal name? What is that ideal name to call this group moving forward? This purpose of this group will be serving as a central community base to push forward projects in the action plan. And to name a few examples, in one of the pilot communities, Acres Home, the community members in that group refer to them as the A team. So they call themselves the A team. What could be that name for the Kashmere Gardens Complete Communities area? And this will be opportunity for anyone to speak up any ideas, like what the K team, or what could be that name?
And Devontae, may I add just a couple of thoughts?
Yes.
Now that we're in implementation, this, and Devontae did mention this, we've completed all of the public engagement. We have our plan finished. And in order to establish a new forward-thinking, the new projects that we're going to tackle, it might be really fitting to rename it. We've kind of referred to the neighborhood support team. We've often say work groups, and we're kind of call it whatever. And it might be nice to kind of mark this time by renaming from NST and work groups to something that the community might want. We're working on the action plan, and maybe it would be nice to rename the group.
And the ideal name, having a name that is also, that has that inclusiveness feel to it. Really understanding that Kashmere Gardens Complete Communities, this group will also, it also involves a portion of Fifth Ward community, specifically the Frenchtown area. So just to keep that in mind as we're trying to generate ideas for what our group name can be called. Hi, Veronica.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Do we have any suggestions that have come up in the past, or are there any ideas? And if not, have we reached out to community members maybe to get their thoughts and maybe do a survey, or just get some thoughts from the community as to how they would like to self-identify?
We have not really thought that far about it, but that could be a method that we can execute after, if it's something that we need to get a more of a wide range participation for. What do you think about?
I have my wife here, and what did you say the team was, Rashida?
I thought about maybe Kashmere Garden Progressive Action Team.
But I like the fact that let the community come out with the name. Let them put out some suggestions and let us go with the majority rule. Would that be possible? And let people vote?
Yeah, the survey idea is a nice idea, Veronica. Maybe we include the Kashmere Gardens Progressive Action Team on the survey and see if there are any other recommendations and see how people feel about that.
I typed something in the chat to make it, because we have to consider that we have the Fifth Ward community as well that's also being impacted by all of this support. So I said the Northeast Houston Community Group. It's just a suggestion.
Northeast Houston Community Group.
Yeah, I typed it in the chat.
You might get a little pushback in Kashmere Garden on that, because it's a Kashmere Garden Complete Community, really. in reality. But I mean, you put it in there. I mean,
Well, I'm
let's see what
trying
people
to
say.
be inclusive, but if it's,
Well, I do too.
if it's just Kashmere Gardens, then you can still just say Kashmere Garden Community Group.
Yeah, I think it's important that, you know, I love the fact of including that portion of Fifth Ward. So yeah, Fifth Ward there, but come out with a name. It's a lot of Northeast this and Northeast that. But I like that I want to be inclusive because of what's going on in the, you know, the boundary perimeters of what we're dealing with here. But definitely, if there's another name, we just put it in there. But if there's another name also you can come up with, throw that in there as well.
Okay, I'll think of something else.
Yeah, exactly. Any ideas, just feel free to put it down, and in that survey, we can present that to the community. And again, they also are welcome to add on to that if they would like, but it's just like, yeah, those can be some of the examples that we can present to the community widespread. But yeah, just feel free to write your ideas in the chat. Feel free to do that throughout this meeting if you would like, unless if anyone else wanted to speak out on the idea. If not, we could move on to our speaker for tonight. Joetta, you have a comment?
I'm I'm just trying to figure out something off the top of my head that's catchy. And yeah, I was just sitting here just trying to think about it. I don't know, maybe the KG Fifth team or I don't know. I almost want to say the KG Fifth Element team. I don't know, but anyway.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joetta.
So you like the KG Fifth team or the KG Fifth Element team? You can tell I kind of like movies, right?
Yeah, I like the idea. That can also be a part of our considerations list.
Okay.
Any other suggestions for a group name? Team?
Joetta, my wife loved that about the element.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the suggestions throughout this meeting. For those who have just logged into our meeting, we were trying to brainstorm on a potential name to call this group, moving forward in implementing action plan items for the Kashmere Gardens Communities boundary. If you have any ideas, please feel free to write your ideas of that name in the chat thread. In the chat, using the chat for this meeting, feel free to write your ideas under that, and then I will take those ideas and then plan to present it to the community as a whole to share, trying to get more of a majority vote on one of those ideas. So please feel free to write those ideas in the chat thread, and then we can have a much more of a bigger voting period. Thank you. So now we'll move on to our first speaker of tonight, Sarah Robinson with Houston Public Works, to talk about Protect Our Pipes campaign. Handing it off to you, Sarah.
All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Devonte, and thank you everybody else for your time today. My name is Sarah Robinson, and I work for Houston Public Works. So today I'm here to share with you some of the ways that you can help Houston's wastewater system remain healthy, safe, and clean for yourselves, your family, and your community. But first, a story. This boy here is Sammy. Sammy lives in Houston. He loves spaceships and he wants to work at NASA when he grows up. He also loves playing with Legos and he enjoys eating his Grandma Ruby's cooking. One day, Sammy was walking home from school when he crossed a large puddle of dirty water flowing from a nearby sewer manhole. It took up the entire sidewalk, but since Sammy likes playing in puddles, he walked through it anyways. The next day, though, Sammy was sick with an upset stomach, and so was his grandma Ruby. It turned out that Sammy had walked through a sewer overflow, a backup of untreated wastewater into our streets and homes. He had brought waste into his home, making both himself and his family sick. While Sammy may be a fictional character, his story happens to our children, families, and households more often than we would like. In fact, this photo here was taken at the entrance of an apartment complex right next to where a school bus would drop off students after school. These children were walking through this puddle and bringing raw wastewater into their homes, just like Sammy. So my question for you is, have you seen sewer overflows in your community? They don't all look the same. Some will be more like the photo you saw just before, some more like this, but they often look like small puddles of water standing on top of or near a sewer manhole. And sometimes the first indication is the smell. Sewer overflows can also occur within your own home. So this is a clean out valve in somebody's backyard that had backed up and caused a sewer overflow. Oftentimes this can lead to backups within your own home too, where your toilet cannot flush, or you'll even have backups of untreated wastewater into your home. When these sewer overflows occur on your property, you will need to call a plumber to come in and fix it. And if it's not repaired, this can lead to thousands of dollars in fines from the city, in addition to the costs of the repair itself. So not only can sewer overflows make you sick, but they do quickly add up in cost as well. And of course, at Houston Public Works, we really try to prevent these from happening and respond as soon as we can to prevent these problems from getting worse. But the good thing is that these sewer overflows can be prevented, but we need your help to stop these from occurring. So what causes a sewer overflow? Most sewer overflows are caused when something creates a blockage in the pipe, preventing the wastewater from flowing through. Almost all of these blockages are caused by cooking fats, oils, and grease. When people rinse or pour these items down the drain, they eventually solidify and stick to our pipes, blocking the wastewater from flowing through and causing an overflow. And one thing that I found surprising was that it does not take a lot of grease to lead to these sewer overflows. Oftentimes, these will accumulate from a lot of houses in one pipe, causing an issue that is accumulated by a lot of different homes. In fact, if every resident in Houston poured 1 tablespoon of grease or oil down the drain each week, that would be enough to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool with grease and oil on a weekly basis. So how can you help? I'm going to show a quick video that highlights the ways you can help prevent sewer overflows in your community.
We can't hear the volume.
You cannot hear the volume? Okay, let me try to reshare the screen. Can you hear it now? Perfect.
Pouring grease down the drain clogs pipes and causes sewer overflows. Protect our pipes by keeping fats, oils, grease, and other items out of the drain. When deep frying, pan frying, or oven roasting, let your cooking oil or grease cool and pour it into a heat-resistant container. After cooling it in the fridge, either reuse the oil or toss the full container in the trash. Use a spatula, scraper, or paper towel to remove all remaining oils and toss it in the trash. Remember, grease clogs pipes, so pour, cool, toss. Together, we can protect our pipes from clogs and overflows. Learn more at protectourpipes.org.
All right. So in addition to taking these actions at home, you can also report sewer overflows you see to 311. If the overflow is occurring in your home, you should call a plumber if possible. So we also need your help to spread the word. Recently, we have been seeing an increase in sewer overflows, not just from fats, oils, and grease, but also from wipes that are being flushed down toilets as well. So we're also now asking our residents to only flush the 3 Ps: pee, poo, and toilet paper. Everything else belongs in the trash. Even if it says flushable, oftentimes these still end up clogging our pipes before they're able to break down. But we also need your help to share this word with your friends and family. In addition to just making sure that these people are doing it at home, we have provided resources that we can to help you as well. I have on this screen here, and I can share them in the chat and share this presentation later, but we have links to graphics, posters, the YouTube video that I just shared, as well as several more videos on our YouTube page, as well as a lot of more downloads at our website, protectourpipes.org. So if you just go to protectourpipes.org, you can download flyers and posters and all of that information as well. We also provide presentations to communities, provide programs to schools, can hand out additional educational materials, and can help support programs such as cooking oil recycling drives. Please feel free to email us at protectourpipes@houstontx.gov for more ways that you can help spread the word and get involved. In short, together we can protect our pipes from clogs and sewer overflows, making sure our communities shift away from this to this. And fun fact, this is the same sewer overflow in both photos, both during and before a sewer overflow, and then after it was cleaned up. Let's make sure our streets remain more like this photo here. You can learn more again at protectourpipes.org. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
Sarah, this is Mr. Downey. Have you all started thinking about putting it in water bills?
We have.
Information?
We actually put this information in the November water bills. And then we had it was about the size of the envelope, front and back, 1 page in English, 1 page in Spanish. It had one of our other characters, Martin, with the pour, cool, and toss information. And then we're planning on sending it out again in May with more information about rags and wipes. And we actually we sent out an e-blast as well to all of the customers who have an email address registered with us. And that has by far been our best way to get clicks to our website and get people engaged and involved. So that is a great recommendation.
I would love to share this with, you know, the super neighborhood residents, whether it be social media or what have you, because people on social media, you have all your friends don't live in your community. So this will get the word and spread the word out. People know people that I don't know. So if you can, Devontae, if you can give her my email address and send out. And Ms. Stevenson is the super neighborhood president for 5th Ward. And I'm sure she can share it with her community as well. I'm not speaking for her.
Absolutely. Great idea.
Great. Yes, that would be great.
Yes, I guess. Following.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
You have a question in the chat from Mary. She said, what about apartments?
Great question. So
Beautiful question.
Yes, Houston Public Works, we work with the Houston Health Department. So they oversee enforcement. Whenever there is a sewer overflow, they'll follow up at an apartment and basically inspect the apartment to see what's causing the sewer overflow. If it's related to fats, oils, grease, rags, or wipes, they'll provide them with this information. We share this with them, and then they'll pass it along. And then they'll provide workshops and do outreach in tandem with the apartment complex itself. If the apartment complex does not fix the problem, they actually they can receive fines from the city. So there is a certain level of incentive for them to respond to these efforts. And when they show that they're working to educate their residents and make sure that their residents are proper, or their tenants and renters are properly disposing of their waste, that's something that the health department takes into consideration when following up on potential future issues as well.
I just thought about something funny. It's illegal dumping in a different way.
It is. It's less visible, but just as harmful to the environment and to our health. And so oftentimes it's overlooked.
Thank you, Mr. Downey and Mary. Mary, which council office are you with, by the way?
District.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. District B or A?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
And one more comment I will say, this has been very great questions and ideas. I will certainly share all of this over social media, but I am also happy and eager to hear of maybe some of the best ways to really work with Kashmere Gardens specifically to get this information out within your communities. So, I'll put my personal email address in the chat, and if you have any ideas or suggestions, please feel free to email me. We're here to really provide this service in the best way we can for your community.
I would love to hear from other people. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is Miss Berry. And when she had said, how else can we get this out in our community? We do have business owners and that have restrooms and stuff, and I'm sure they would not mind posting those flyers with those links or those YouTube, or if you do like a QR code and people can scan it and it can pop up on their phone and they can view it, like in the grocery stores and things and at the restaurants. That's another way for people to click on something, because people will scan a QR code to see what it's about.
Do you guys have any contacts or recommendations for businesses or restaurants to share this with?
Well, Triple J's is Black owned, and Sting owned. Not only Sting owned is Black owned, but it is owned. It is in the neighborhood, and they
work with the community.
Yeah, and you have washing areas. People sitting there washing clothes all day. They will scan a QR code.
You're right,
Sarah.
And we have Fiesta. We have Fiesta right there, Lockwood and Kelly, primary store, and we're building a relationship with the store manager. His name is Johnny Fletcher. So yes, and I was gonna, Miss Berry, I was gonna call on you. So I was gonna ask you for your suggestion when you came in. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
I would be happy to build off of that relationship, because we've actually tried to post our signs in Fiesta, and they've said it has to go through their corporate office and just haven't really gained traction since. So if you have a good relationship that we can work with you on, that would help us a lot. Mr. Downey, I believe I'll be getting your email address as well as Ms. Stevenson. So if it's possible, I can just follow up for some of these contacts with you both after this meeting.
Sure.
And Sarah, could they
and
also...
I might be able to... Go ahead, sir.
Oh,
no, I was going to say I might be able to connect you with the regional manager for Fiesta as well. I have his email.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Devon.
No problem. Yeah, could they also email suggestions to you, Sarah? Do they protect our pipes? Is that also a good email address for them to send to?
Yes, and I'll put that in the chat as well. So the Protect Our Pipes email, it goes to me, it goes to my team in general. So that one works as well. Either one, we will get it and we'll be able to move on from there.
Great. Well, thank you, Sarah, for speaking with us to this evening and to inform us of Protect Our Pipes campaign. So yes, if you have any further comments or questions, you can email Sarah at protectourpipes@houstontx.gov. Sarah, you're free to to attend the rest of this meeting, or if you have somewhere to go, we understand. But thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you all very much for your time and your input. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Our next speaker, he is the program manager of Air Alliance Houston, and he will be talking about the community air monitoring program. His name is Juan Flores.
Sir, do I have the opportunity to present?
Oh, sorry about that, Juan. Let me.
Good. Okay, I got it.
Great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Juan Flores. I am the Community Air Monitoring Program Manager, and I'm here today to talk to you about our air monitoring program, an opportunity that's open to your community if you guys are interested in trying to take advantage of it. So let me tell you a little bit more. We are Air Alliance Houston. We are a research-based nonprofit organization that advocates for policies to reduce air pollution, because we believe that where you live and work, learn, and play should not determine your health. And we want to clean the air up so we can have some good air. All right. I was going to let y'all know a little bit about the program, what it's all about, and also share some stats from a report that was done here a couple of months ago. This report is called the Environmental Hazard and Inequitable Health Risk in Houston Complete Communities. So this is for all the complete communities, including your community. And just some of the highlights of some key findings that we found. There are at least 300 hazardous facilities operating inside or within 1 mile of the 5 complete communities. Inside or near the complete communities, there are 1,320 places such as schools, parks, and churches that are within 1 mile of a hazardous facility. Roughly 32% of the city population lives within, adjacent to a census block group that contains hazardous site. Every complete community, every complete community has at least 2 concrete batch plants within its boundaries. Near Northside has almost 8 of them. And these concrete batch plants pop up a lot. That's why we gotta stay vigilant about them coming to your communities. Every complete community has at least 2 metal recyclers within its boundaries. And near Northside, they even have 17. There are more than 90 oil wells within 1 mile of Acres home. The residents of block groups with hazardous sites tend to be lower income. Non-white residents, renters tend to live in blocks with hazardous sites at greater rates than homeowners. Issues with air emissions and other hazardous sites add major health risks on top of other challenges such as poverty, lack of mobility, unsafe homes, and already faced by complete community residents. So this is something, these are some of the findings that we found on the report we did with the complete communities. Now you're probably wondering, well, what can we do to help that? And sorry guys. So we have an air monitoring program that we're structuring to let the communities be part of it if they want to participate. But we want to build an air monitoring network in these communities where we're going to put air monitors in locations that the residents think they're needed. And these air monitors will be put up, and as a group we'll decide where to put them up. There's different types of air monitors we can put up, and we'll decide as a group which ones would be the best for the community. Once we get the air monitors up, then we want everyone in the community who wants to look online to see what the current air pollution is or what the emissions are in your community can look it up at any time. Lifetime, you can just go on your phone or computer and see what the air pollution looks like in your community at any time when these monitors are up. And of course, getting the air monitors up is one thing, but trying to understand the data that comes out of it sometimes is difficult. Because I mean, it's reading the ozone rates, it's reading VOCs, all this stuff is kind of complicated sometimes, but we want to offer a curriculum where we'll come to your meeting and teach you how all this data, what it means, how you can use it, and how to know if it's safe for you to go out in your community. So this program will be open to any community, complete community who wants to take advantage of it. But just some of the highlights of it, we want to establish an air monitoring ambassadors advisory board. So there's going to be 4 other communities other than this community that will be working together to have an air monitoring network in their community. Right now we have Pasadena, Galena Park, and we're hoping to get at least 3 complete communities to be part of this. So we're all going to work together. We'll have one meeting once a month or twice a month, depending on the situation, to talk about how is the Kashmere network looking like this month, how we can improve it, what we can do, learn from each other, and try to build it up. So, you know, hopefully one person from your community will join this ambassadors program, and they will be reimbursed for their time also, a portion for being part of it. Also, we want to do a community mapping session. We'll have a meeting like we're having here today. We'll bring up a map and we'll go through your community, and you as residents and participants will give us your input of where you think we need to install air monitors in the Kashmere Gardens area. So we will do that together. Once we identify what are the hotspots and where we need air monitors, then we will make a decision where to put them, be it a church, be in somebody's house, be in a school, whatever we can find in the area that will be good for us to use. And we'll work with them. And once we're ready, we'll identify what the different air monitors are, and then we'll decide as a community which ones we want and where to put them. So like I said, we're going to train y'all on what the data all means and how you can take advantage of it. I mean, how you can go to City Hall, how you can go to TCEQ to try to make change. So this is no longer a problem in your community. So we're going to try to beat that problem. So we have funds available to purchase air monitors. So we will buy those air monitors and have them in your community. I mean, there's some very elaborate air monitors. So we're going to show you which air monitors we have and what would be good for your community. Each pertaining, so we'll have the curriculum, we'll train y'all and get you ready for the program. Here's an example of the air monitoring network we have in Pasadena right now. It's not 100% complete yet. You guys still there? Okay, sorry, I lost connection. But this is the Pasadena Air Monitoring Network. Here's a picture on top of APIS air monitor currently working. You can see the grids. It shows you where the monitor's in the middle. It shows you which way the winds are blowing. And there right there on the side, it tells you what are the different chemicals it's measuring for. Down there, it shows you a graph. If something spikes, it will tell you it spiked at what time and what red direction is coming from. And if you look at the other map on the right, it shows where the 3 air monitors are at. We form like a little triangle there because the refineries are all right there in the chip channel. So we're going to figure out a way to do it to where whatever we're measuring for, we'll be able to get most of the data we need in order for us to make change. Here's some pictures of some possible air monitors you can use. The first one is called the APIS air monitor. It was the one you saw here in Pasadena. Then we have the one in the middle called Purple Air. Those measure like smoke particles in the air. It's real good for that. And then we got like the S-Pods, which is a little bit more sensitive, VOCs, you know, all these different chemicals we can measure using these air monitors. So if you guys are interested in participating in this program, we're going to open up an application process. It's going to be one application. If you guys are interested as a community to participate in this, I will send the application to y'all. And if you guys just fill it out, I mean, one of you guys can do it. And I'll send it to Mr. Caldwell here. I'll send you the application. And if you guys want to participate and apply for it, please fill it out. We're hoping to have all the applications in by the middle of February. And if you guys have any more questions concerning this, just let me know. And if you guys are chosen to participate in this program, hopefully by March meeting, we'll be able to come to your meeting and tell you, hey, you guys have been selected. You guys are ready to move on. We'll set the calendar schedule and we'll make it happen. So that's a little short version of what the program is all about. Does anybody have any questions?
Juan, I have a question. This is Joetta Stevenson with the 5th Ward Super Neighborhood. I noticed that the air monitors that you were showing on one of the diagrams, you said they were around the shift channel. What type of air monitor would be, which one of those air monitors would work say, near a freeway, or would it have to be a freeway that's currently being worked on, or just a freeway that has a lot of traffic on it?
Well, it just depends. Like I said, as a group, we'll decide where the pollution spots are at in your community. If it's near a freeway, then, we'll be measuring more for smoke and particles, maybe putting a purple air out there, maybe even putting up an S-pod. And there's other monitors that are available also. So we would, like I said, first identify what are the issues in the spots we want to go after, and then we can share with you what the options are on air monitors you can use.
Okay.
I actually have a question. So for the grant, grant program for dispensing monitors in different neighborhoods, how many monitors do you anticipate dispensing, or is it just going to be the one?
It depends on the situation. I mean, those 8-bit air monitors, the one you saw, those cost about 9-10 grand just to get started. Those purple air monitors a little bit cheaper. They go anywhere from 100 to like 300. The S-pods go for about 3 grand. So they vary. We're going to have so much money allocated to each community. So we're going to try to fill, like I said, depending on the situation. If it's something near a school, say it's a metal recycler that's emitting emissions, then we're going to try to pick the right air monitor for that situation. But we'll decide together as a community.
And with this program, is it just going to exclusively focus on the complete communities, or is it going to be open up to any of the super neighborhoods that are encompassed within the complete communities?
At this time, we're working with the complete communities, but I mean, if you guys are part, where you're here now, so you're part of the complete communities, you guys will be able to apply with the application that I will send out to you. Yes, ma'am.
And then my last question, and then I'm gonna stop talking, but I wanted to know what has your outreach looked like for the other complete communities that were approved, and would you mind, and we can do this offline if it's going to be too in-depth, but can you kind of share a general response from some of the other complete communities that you've shared this initiative with?
You're the second community I talked to. I talked to Sunnyside, and they're very interested. I'm actually going to have a special meeting with them tomorrow to share a little bit more details about it. So you guys are the second community I talked to, and I'll be talking to at least 3 more after this. So the Sunnyside was very interested, and they're going to apply, and I'm meeting with them tomorrow. So we're just getting started on that.
Okay, thank you. And I'll leave my information in the chat. If we could touch base sometime soon, I would really like to learn more about this program that you guys have. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I will put my email and my phone number here in the chat. So if you guys want to send me an email, have any questions, and Mr. Caldwell, I will send you the application so you can distribute it to your members here. And if you guys want to apply, it's not a very hard application. I'll have it ready by tomorrow or Thursday, and I'll send you the application, and Mr. Caldwell will send it out to y'all. And if you guys want to meet again or have any questions, you can please just let me know.
This is Keith Downey. This is a very important issue, a super important issue concerning our community, environmental injustices, dealing especially with air quality. And I want to thank Air Alliance for all that you all have done. I remember we were talking about air monitors at our schools in the community. This was right after Harvey. And I think the issue fell by the wayside. But we also have a lot of contaminants in our community. Contaminants don't care whether you're Fifth Ward, Kashmere, Trinity, Tidwell. They travel all over. And I think that it's very important that we, try to, I think as a community, we're definitely very interested in this. But it's something that we have concrete batch plants. In fact, State Senator Boris Miles has introduced SB 87 that's going to try to address permitting of batch plants. It's something that I think everybody on the call should look into, SB 87. He introduced this in November. And I will be, personally, I will be on a panel on Thursday night with Dr. King at TSU talking about environmental racism. And so when you're speaking about air quality, this is just one of the layers of environmental situations and injustices we're dealing with going forward. But I definitely think that, as far as air monitors, Fifth Ward, Kashmere, Trinity Garden, I think it's very important that we think about all these communities because the air doesn't stop when it gets to the borderline of Kashmere and Fifth Ward.
That's correct. I mean, that's the reason we're trying to build up these networks because the EPA cut back a lot during the Trump years, and it comes back down to us to defend ourselves in our own communities. And this is one of the reasons we're trying to do these in the community so we can have monitors and be able to defend ourselves and know what's going on. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay. If you guys are interested, then I will send the application to Mr. Caldwell, who'll send it out to y'all. If you guys have any questions, my phone number, my email's there. And I want to thank y'all so much for having me here today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Flores.
Thank
And yes, so this is a great example of an action item that this group can move forward and into to really push forward in installing the air monitors in the areas of this, in setting up a community engagement process to involve more community members. And this could be a meeting that I can set up. And for those who are interested in helping to apply for it, this application, we can have a much more of a deeper discussion. So I can send out a poll to those what would be the best time to talk about this. And I will also provide the application that Mr. Flores would provide me with to have everyone review it and just to express interest for anyone who would like to, because there's one person to apply for the community so that we can also discuss that as well. And then for any other efforts moving forward. But yeah, this is a great action item that we could move forward with. But I just wanted to check in with everyone. Does that sound like a good idea? You know, if it's something that everyone's will be on board.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I will send out a poll after this meeting so we can schedule a time to talk about this matter. Thank you. All right. So thanks again to two of our speakers tonight. So our next step will be to talk about, just to briefly recap our discussions at our last meeting. For those who did not attend the meeting in October, the purpose of the meeting in October was to talk about the structure, and we kind of covered that as far as moving forward with implementing the action plans. There are departments, city departments, there are agencies outside of the city that will be involved in helping to implement projects in the plan. The Mayor's Office of Complete Communities plays a key role in overseeing the process, tracking and reporting on the progress of action plan implementation process, and also to look for partners and funding opportunities to help support these projects. The Planning and Development Department, my department, our role is to help coordinate these efforts and to coordinate with other city departments and helping to move these projects forward. You have the Department of Neighborhoods that will also plays a coordinating role. For example, Kelly Bradford, I would like to mention Kelly, the Department of Neighborhoods, who is our liaison for Kashmere Gardens and surrounding communities. And we have the Mayor's Office Resilience that will also help to assist any implementation efforts or facilitating processes in relation to the Resilient Houston plan. And then we have departments that could come to the table to provide their expertise, their knowledge, or any resources to help with any related action items that will pertain to those departments. And then we have other partnering individuals and organizations. I can name a few like that have been identified by the community members throughout this process, and they are listed in the plan under each action item, such as Trees for Houston, and the list can go on. But they will also play a key role and they have organizations have already expressed enthusiasm and interest in working with us, depending on the project and when that time comes. And whatever this group may be called, this will be serving as a centralized community base for everyone to come and to discuss projects to implement. And then within this group, working groups can be formulated to advance a project. And by joining a working group, you are agreeing to the following: to communicate openly and frequently, respecting each other's opinions on various matters, being inclusive, as is open to anyone who may be interested in joining this implementation process, encouraging a variety of voices on the table, working towards a consensus. Some group will be willing to compromise under certain circumstances in order to push forward. Consistently report and documenting your success, there are any decisions or challenges within this process. And these reports, I would like to mention, can be made at other organizational meetings like the super neighborhood meetings. So be open and transparent on what's been going on, and also as a good recruitment method to encourage people to come to these meetings. If any conflict arises, work to resolve them in a very professional manner, leading by example, in helping to guide others and to lead, and then evaluating any measuring successes in the process, and then, you know, last but not least, celebrating your successes, showing these accomplishments, as you know, and really to have others witnessing the progress that's being made in the community, and to really get people more energized and more be willing to join this process, and as they are seeing things coming off the ground. So now moving into the other area that was covered. So there are a total of 10 main categories in the plan, like community leadership, economy and jobs, flood resilience, health, education, housing, parks and community safety, neighborhood character, and mobility and infrastructure. And there was a previous survey that was done at the last meeting, and a lot of those projects that were listed in that, it was a combination of a lot of projects in the plan, whether they were high priority or short term or even medium or long term. But my idea for tonight is to focus specifically on the 16 projects that have been identified in the plan as high priority short-term projects. And these are the projects that I pulled out from the plan, all 16 of these high priority short-term projects. And I have opened up polling if you all could go to like swiftpolling.com and enter in the code 16835 on some of the project examples, just to kind of help initiate the discussion. But also, I would like to really kind of open the floor on any suggested projects that we can kick off with. We do have one that we all have agreed on, which is to set up a meeting to discuss the application process for the community air monitoring program, but to also look into like other projects that we would like to tackle this year. Just to name from each of the categories, like community leadership and advocacy, there's a project that's focusing on improving public outreach strategies, how to communicate better within the community and with community partners. One of the ideas that was brought up within the public engagement process was to create a community directory. So that could be a project idea which is high priority and short term. The next one is connecting youth to jobs, going into more of the workforce development, and similar to education, with education expanding and promoting vocational and STEAM educational curriculums at schools, science, technology, arts, and math curriculums at schools, Getting to the flood resilience section, the high priority short-term projects are to proactively prepare for disasters, specifically involving identifying these key organizations that will provide the needed resources prior to a natural disaster. The next item is specifically to create an emergency preparation and evacuation plan. And then the other two projects under that category are to improve city storm drainage systems, keeping ditches and bayous free of debris. Under the health section, there is to strengthen the healthy food network. There are community gardenings, and you have the ongoing Northeast Community Farmers Market that has been taking place, and to strengthen that. And then you also have the LBG Farm, I like to also mention, but to strengthen the healthy food network system, promoting these ongoing engagements while also adding on to the system, planning for new housing, repairing Harvey homes, expanding home repair programs for seniors. Some of these projects could be, there could be elements for each of these projects that can be done under the short term. One, identifying any potential opportunities to plan for new housing and repairing homes. Under neighborhood character, there's the Beautification Campaign. Specifically, I hope everyone has been able to read the action plan, but the details under this is to encourage people to report illegal dumping through 311, and just creating some type of creative campaign to encourage people to keep Kashmere Gardens complete communities beautiful. The next one is great community meeting places, specifically with the Kashmere Gardens McCrane Library, which there was a celebration of its reopening last week. So right now, moving forward, what are some of the programming features, looking into maybe what's currently there, but if there's anything else that should be added that the community would like to add, that is a project idea right there for the reopened library. And under safety, there is the improved communication and relationships with community law enforcement agencies, increasing attendance at the positive interaction part. The PIP meetings, increasing attendance to those meetings, and also any other events that could strengthen the bond between the community and the police officers. Creating safe places, specifically improving and maintaining street lighting at near trails, along streets, and area bus stops. And then last but not least, addressing stray animals. So these are all the 16 identified projects in the plan. And to start off with like a small like activity or something to provide to kind of open up the floor is, out of these projects, which of these projects would you like to work on first out of these 16 projects? And then I would like for those, if you can go on to swiftpolling.com. Again, that is swiftpolling.com, SWIFT polling.com, and enter in the code 16835. 16835. Again, that is 16835, and select either one of these projects. And then we will review the results. And then I will also open up the floor for anyone, if there's any other project ideas that you may have in mind that could be added onto this list. So
Devontae, this is Keith Downey. I wanted to, before it loses my thought, I've talked to a couple other people on that, on the original NST group for Kashmere Garden, and I would have to agree. Tuffy Park, it has shown Kashmere Garden the strong need for a city park of its own. Now, a city park takes time, so we could be talking about, and they were mentioning a pocket park. A pocket park is a lot easier to do because you need a sponsor, you need land that's there, but it's something that, it would help us to start somewhere of having our own city park, so that may be an idea.
Okay. Any thoughts to that? Any thoughts that anyone else would have about having a parks and communities group to tackle that?
Yes, hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I agree with Mr. Downey. We do need our own park, so I'm in much support of that. And so I would hope that you would look into that, because he and I had talked about that before, that because Tupley Park is really not in Kashmere Garden. And so I do agree that we need to look at getting some props in and providing a park for the Kashmere Garden community.
Well, now we do have other parks. We have Dotson Park that is right there. That's Trinity Garden / Kashmere Gardens, because I live here in Trinity Gardens, but it's all, that used to be the big park.
Dotson Park. I know where Dotson Park is. That's a good piece from Kashmere Garden. It only two streets used to go through years back, was Homestead and Jensen. So Kashmere community, I've been out here. I bought land out here in 1957, and this was stated as Kashmere Garden up until the railroad track. Over the tracks was Trinity Garden. So, as I stated, we don't have a park in Trinity Garden, except the county park.
Thank you both for your comments. Yes, that could be something that can be looked into to formulate to have a working group meeting based on identifying potential locations of where this could be, and then working with maybe the Parks and Recreation Department on this matter. So it's something that could be explored to have further discussions on. I do want to mention that, yes, thank you, Mr. Downey, for bringing up the Tupley Park and the 50/50 parks. As I'm just going to talk about this, just giving people more time to fill out this, to take the survey. The 50/50 Park Initiatives is a current effort by the mayor and in collaboration with the Houston Parks Board and the Houston Parks and Recreation Department to improve parks around Houston. Tupley Park is one of those parks that they are looking into, and they want to. They have been holding public meetings to get to hear from the community on what are the needed improvements at these parks, as there are available resources to improve these parks. But right now, they're currently holding these sessions, these listening sessions, to hear from the community on what improvements they would like to see at these parks. So again, Tupley Park is the area that has been announced for this initiative, and I can, following the meeting, I can provide anyone further information on that. But it's also on our Let's Talk Houston website that I will get to later in this meeting, that people can go on to look up any information about the 50/50 Parks Initiative. There will be another listening session that will be held in March during the Greater Fifth Ward Super Neighborhood Meeting. There was one that just passed that was held last week during Kashmere Garden Super Neighborhood Meeting, but there will be another opportunity for those to participate for Tupley Park.
Mr. Caldwell, one thing you talked about, the library and programming, is very important that the Kashmere Garden residents have a say in what's going on as far as programming inside of the library. And something is really happening on our watch that is really embarrassing. Our kids do not know our own history, and they don't know the history of the communities where they live. So I think it's very important that, I'm not telling people what to do, but I think it's very important that we try to teach as many of our youth what's going on in that community, and how, and before they came along, how did they get here? So programming and the residents having input on that programming is very important, whether it's spelling bees or what have you. So, and I'm hearing that from residents as well.
Okay. Thank you for that comment, Mr. Downey. Has everyone been able to take the survey? So far, the majority of the votes have went to improve public outreach strategies, which is also, yeah, I would like to tie this back into your comment, in Mr. Downey, as far as, really when it comes to involving the youth and really having them, you know, take part in these efforts around the community, and then as well as learning about the history of the community in the process. That could be something that can definitely be, you know, accomplished, and it's something that could be further explored and talked about.
And I think it's very important. Improved public outreach strategies is very important, because I'm seeing downward slide of in community engagement, and it's difficult for leaders such as myself to keep people engaged the more and more we do not meet in person and go virtual. So if this is the way of life and the way of the future, immediate future for now, until we do get back together again, I think we need to come up with different ways to reach out to people and different generations to join along and bring us all together.
Absolutely. Has everyone participated in the poll? Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay, so just to go over the results, I seen that the majority have gone to improving public outreach strategies. I do like to mention the others, which are there have been some votes allocated for expanding and promoting vocational and STEAM educational curriculums at schools, and then strengthen the healthy food network and keeping ditches and piles free of debris. But from what I'm seeing is that majority of you would like to focus on what you would like to focus on first are improving public outreach strategies under the community leadership and advocacy category. So a meeting, we can schedule a meeting based on that, and to really start talking about what are some of the how we can improve the outreach efforts between the community and the city, and also within the community. We can have more of in-depth discussions taking place in the near future. But are there any other ideas that you may have in mind that you may not see on this list that you would like to share with us? Anyone have any other further ideas? If so, is everyone aside from what we are going to schedule with the to talk about the community air monitoring program, is everyone okay with moving forward with focusing also on the community leadership advocacy project, which is to improve public outreach? Is that something that we can also focus on?
I believe so, from my opinion.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, then that's what we'll move forward to. Okay, that's where. Just want to make sure everyone has spoken. I see, making sure that everyone has gotten to speak. We have Alma on the call. Hi, Alma. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining tonight's meeting, and feel free to write in the chat if you have any comments.
Devontae, can I share a number with you also to try to combat illegal dumping? And it's with Houston Crime Stoppers. I know we all know the 311 at houstontx.gov as far as an email with photograph to send out to the city to get the number. But also a Crime Stoppers number is 713-222-TIPS. And if the person is prosecuted, you stand chance to possibly receive a $5,000 reward.
Okay. Thank you, for sharing that, Mr. Downey. Anyone have any comments, questions based on what was recently covered, or anything to add? If not, then We can move towards our announcements. But thank you all for the feedback collected tonight, and I'm excited to, we have like a layout of a plan to move forward with. So I'm happy to work with you all to really get all of these accomplished. Veronica, you have anything that you would like to say?
Just really quickly, just on behalf of the American Heart Association, we're excited about everybody coming together and lending their voice to make Kashmere Gardens a better community. And as far as announcements, just don't forget that February is American Heart Month. This year we're calling a code red for women to live fierce, and we've got 28 days of virtual activities that are going to be happening. And so I can send that to you, Caldwell, and you can disperse it to the group. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so getting to the announcements, there are upcoming grant workshops held by LISC, and this is also another opportunity for anyone who has a project idea, something that they would like to present in front of LISC, and to learn about how to apply for these small grants that are usually held on an annual basis. And so I would definitely give this off to Sasha Marshall, who is a planner with the Planning and Development Department, to talk about the upcoming workshops.
Hi, good evening, Kashmere. Hey, Mr. Downey. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I'm good. Good to see my friend again. So Mr. Downey and I participated in a LISC interview, which should be coming out soon. We were some ambassadors for LISC T4T session. And so I'm sure Mr. Downey will be sharing our very inspiring video that we just recorded this week. So since we are talking about LISC, we at the City of Houston want to help Kashmere Gardens apply for a LISC grant. Not a City of Houston grant, a LISC grant. So the City of Houston does not have this grant, but LISC does, and we want to help you apply for their grant. LISC has an upcoming workshop on tomorrow, actually, and they're going to tell you all about their grant workshop. And I can tell you about some of that too. So LISC has $500 to $5,000 to groups such as Complete Communities to apply for small grants that support activities that bring stakeholders together to address issues such as housing, health, environment, education, economic development, family, financial stability, and resident leadership and civic engagement. And so this is a great opportunity for Kashmere to get some funding to complete some of their projects as listed in the action plan. We just saw you take a vote on potential projects, and this funding can help you support those future projects. So let's say y'all said y'all wanted to do a public outreach strategy and you wanted to keep ditches and bayous free of debris. And we've heard from the lady with Public Works talking about the invisible dumping. So say you want to kill two birds with one stone, you want to use this funds to do a public outreach strategy around keeping ditches and bayous clean. And you want to create some PSAs or some cartoons or something like that to tell people don't dump invisibly in the pipes and don't dump visibly on the street. And you can apply for this grant to help you do that. And if that's a project, I have a wonderful dumping idea for you guys. But anyway, that's another story for another day. We want to help y'all apply for this grant. A lot of times we see grant opportunities come our way and people say, yeah, I'm going to apply. But sometimes that proposal never gets there. We never get to push that button. Some people, you just might need another set of eyes to look through your application, or you might need some in-depth guidance. So Complete Community staff is here to help you. We are also going to have a grant workshop on the 26th and on February 25th. And we're going to say, hey, let's review your application. Let's go through it with a fine-tooth comb and make sure you have a project description that is that people understand and is applicable to this grant and applicable to Kashmere Gardens Complete Communities Action Plan. We want to make sure this is a reimbursable grant. It does require a 2-to-1 match. You bring the 2 and LISC will bring the 1, but the match is in kind. So we already know we have a plethora of volunteers. Their time contributes to match. Let's say we get a bunch of donations and resources together. All those things contribute to match. So don't let the match fool you. We can help you figure out how to meet that match. And also you will need letters of support from other community groups in Kashmere that can help support this project. So we want to help you apply for this grant. I'll put my information in the chat so that you can email me. We're going to start off with the workshop and talk to you about the application and what that looks like. And we want to give you an individualized set of time to review just your application. So let me know when you want to come talk to us about submitting for the LISC grant. We really have a goal of at least one complete community, not at least one application from each complete community. We want each of our 10 complete communities to apply for this LISC grant. And we want to achieve that goal for you and for everybody. I'll put my information in the chat and you can join us for the grant workshop. We'll make sure that Devontae sends you out a flyer with our information in case you want to attend our grant workshop. These 2 workshops are not required to submit the LISC grant. We are just trying to do our best to advertise the workshop that LISC has and advertise the workshop that we will have to give you the best opportunity you have for a successful application. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know. I'll put my information in the chat.
Thank you, Sasha.
Yes, my apologies, Ms. Sasha. I actually do have one question. So with regards to applying for these grants, I understand that the goal is to have the complete communities themselves apply for these grants, but is there a criteria for the grants to come from organizations, or is there a certain structure that the complete communities need to have, say, go through a super neighborhood or go through a community CDC or something like that in order to qualify? Or how would, I guess I'm asking, how would the complete communities be able to receive and retrieve the funds for said projects if they're not set up as a normal nonprofit organization?
And you will need someone with a 501c3 or a nonprofit organization to accept that grant money. I did recently get a list from grant for a project I was doing last year, and I went through the World Youth Foundation as my financial sponsor to accept the grant. So that's why I mentioned briefly earlier that you need letters of support, and one of those entities that support you needs to be a 501c3 so that you can receive the grant money. I also forgot to mention that the small grant cycle is open right now. It's open from now until April. But these are limited funds. You know, everything is limited. So we don't want people to wait till April to submit the grant. We encourage you to submit it as soon as you can so that the funding is there and you will be considered.
And does LISC operate on the same principle that Houston Art Alliance does, where they have a list of verified umbrella organizations that they will accept grants from? Or is it anybody who can come can just come?
I don't want to speak for LISC. I don't want to go too much into their requirements. I have not heard anything like that in my experience with LISC, but I won't say for sure. I will encourage you to attend the workshop that they have for tomorrow so that you can ask that specific question. If you're not able to attend, I'll make sure to ask that question because we will be in attendance.
If you could, please, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Go put the question in the chat for me, please, Rain, if you don't mind, so I can get it down word by word.
Yes,
I have received, not personally me, but organizations I've been 501s I've been with have received grant funding from this in the past. And yes, you must have a fiduciary if you are not a 501c3 and what have you. Like Kashmere Garden Super Neighborhood has no treasury, so there are 501c3s that are sister organizations to our civic organizations. So But that's a great question. I love that.
Thank you, Sasha. I can also send out I did send it to everyone at the email about the 2 workshops, the January 13th, the 20th, but I can also follow up with everyone with the email about the upcoming workshops through email. So be on the lookout for that email. Thank you, Sasha. All right. So before we have about like 6 minutes, so I will just cover some of our next steps. But first, I would like to acknowledge, I know we have some people who have come in throughout this meeting, and I wanted to acknowledge anyone who is new in our group, if they can introduce themselves. So feel free to unmute yourself and introduce yourself if you are new. Yes, glad we have some people. I guess not. But again, thank you all for attending tonight's meeting. Just to go over our next steps, which are to go to letstalkhouston.org to fill out there will be probably now 2, but there will be a survey that I will let everyone know that will be provided on Let's Talk Houston. The first one, I would like to just know in general, what are your usual areas of interest? And it is either out of the 10 categories in the plan, just in general to have for everyone. So I would know that everyone's area of interest in community work, whether it's housing, neighborhood character, safety. I would like to get to know more about what is something that you're really passionate about or would like to get involved in, so that way I can keep everyone in mind if any other opportunity comes up, and to make sure that people are filled in about that related area of topic. And through Let's Talk Houston, I really encourage everyone to utilize this site, because there will also be, for Kashmere Gardens page, you will be able to access any previous meeting documents. And also I will post the video that will be for tonight's video will be available on there and through YouTube for anyone who have missed this meeting. And then I will schedule a meeting, 2 meetings in the future, near working group meetings. The first one covering the outreach efforts, and then the other one is to discuss the community air monitoring program. But just to screen share real quick of what Let's Talk Houston looks like. Here is the homepage, going to letstalkhouston.org. And in here you will see various boxes. The one to the right, it covers the 50/50 Partners Community Listening Sessions, if you're interested in attending any of the upcoming listening sessions as part of the initiative. And then scrolling down, you will see Kashmere Gardens. Once you click on that, it will lead you to the page with various information, such as the meeting, for you to review the Kashmere Gardens action plan if you wish to. And then down here are multiple tools, including surveys. This is the topics of interest survey that if you have not filled it out, I would greatly appreciate you filling this out. And then you will also see another survey to select a group community name. And then we'll also appreciate you spreading the word for people to take these surveys. And that's pretty much it. But usually there will also be an area where I will post previous meeting documents, like meeting agendas and notes, for anyone who would like to learn about what has been covered. So with that said, we can conclude this meeting unless anyone has any questions or any quick announcements that people would like to share.
I just wanted to share again about it's a movie, a short movie about environmental racism in our communities, and there's going to be a panel discussion afterwards. It's on my Facebook page as well as the Kashmere Garden Super Neighborhood Facebook page with the link. And that's going to be at 6 o'clock on, 7 o'clock. 7 to 8 o'clock is only 1 hour on Thursday of this week. But also, in the conclude, and I'll be quiet, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and know that you are included and you're welcome. And there's no wrong answers when you're trying to help us, because we're all in this thing together. And so there are no boundaries that stop us except us. And so I hope I can learn from you all, and you all can learn from us. So thank you for being here tonight, and please be safe.
Thank you, Yanni. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight, and be on the lookout for those emails. And
Devontae, excuse me. This is Miss Berry. I just went to the Kashmere Complete Communities, the Houston Complete Communities Initiative, and I was looking for those surveys, and I don't see them, and maybe I missed where the links are.
Oh, for the surveys that I just mentioned, like the topics.
Right.
Oh, yes, if you scroll down on the Kashmere Gardens Let's Talk Houston page, you will see a tab, surveys, and then it's right underneath there.
It's at the bottom?
Yeah, it's towards the bottom. Yeah, it's towards the bottom of the page. I can screen share it once more to show you.
Because I'm scrolling and I don't see anything that says survey.
Okay. Yeah.
I missed something.
Are you on your phone or?
No, I'm on my computer.
On your computer? Okay. So this is what I'm screen sharing. What it looks like from my computer. And if you're Kashmere Gardens, scroll down and then past where you'll see where it talks about the work group meeting of today. There are 3 tabs that you will see closer to the bottom. The first tab provides.
My screen doesn't look like your screen.
Okay.
When I typed in Kashmere Gardens Complete Communities, it's 2 of them. And it's 2 links.
Okay. Well, everyone, if you don't have any other further questions, comments, thank you again for tonight. And you can stay on the line so I can provide you assistance, Deborah.
Okay.
But everyone else, if you don't have any questions or comments, have a good evening.
And Devontae, could you include the link to Let's Talk Houston in the chat?
Yes. Thank you.
Because Devontae, what it's telling me is it says page not found for Let's Talk Houston.
Okay.
Under plan.